Enhanced security measures are being put into place at dozens of airports in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, with direct flights to the United States. This comes in response to a directive from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security saying intelligence reports show that there is an increased threat from al-Qaeda-affiliated militant groups. And CCTV's Nathan King's been monitoring this story for us all day long. He's in the studio with the latest.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. Not much being disclosed, at least publicly. And the U.S. authorities say, though, it is not due to the July 4th Independence Day holiday weekend coming up. Nevertheless, a stepped-up security presence at major airports across Europe and the Middle East mean longer lines and more checks for thousands of passengers heading here to the U.S. Business as usual at Frankfurt's International Airport, but enhanced screening is on the way across Europe and the Middle East. U.S. authorities aren't specifying the exact nature of the threat, but it's thought to stem from recent intelligence reports concerning new types of explosives that are undetectable at airport security checkpoints. Airports with direct flights to the U.S. will be most affected, especially in Europe and the Middle East. And extra measures could include extra passenger screenings and additional screenings of mobile phones, laptops and shoes. Since 2012, U.S. authorities have issued warnings about new types of liquid bombs being developed by the Yemen-based al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, or AQAP.
In particular, finding ways to put together bombs using non-metallic material that can make its way through metal detectors, but also trying to hide bombs in body crevices that will not be easily identified by some of the newer machines in place at airports.
While there hasn't been a successful terror attack involving aircraft on U.S. soil since the September 11, 2001 attacks, there have been some very close calls. Richard Reed tried to detonate explosives hidden in his shoe while en route from Paris to Miami. Umar Farouk Abdulmutallab tried to trigger plastic explosives hidden in his underwear on a flight from Amsterdam to Detroit in 2009. There have also been interceptions of explosives at other European airports. Yeah, liquid explosives are considered the new generation, if you like, of potential terrorist weapons targeting planes and their passengers. They are hard to detect but still lethal. You know, more than a decade after 9/11, U.S. authorities still know that the threat remains and is evolving. Even with this huge overhaul of security we've seen here in the U.S. and around the world, U.S. authorities constantly trying to keep one step ahead.
And you mentioned these direct flights to the United States being the biggest concern. Why is that?
Well, in a way, it's the last line of defense against terrorists. You know, there's no change. So once someone's on a flight, you have to act very quickly. And as we saw in that report, we had Richard Reed, Abdulmutallab, all of them came from direct flights from Europe. But there's another thing going on as well, and we're seeing it from the Syria crisis and the Iraq crisis at the moment, which is the racial profiling that happened after 2011. If you look Middle Eastern, you're somehow suspicious. Well, a lot of Islamic terrorist threats don't look like that anymore. They come from European countries, radicalized there. They can look like you and I. So there is an increasing fear that new techniques had to be gathered to find out exactly who's after us and why.
All right, Nathan King live with us. Thank you so much.